So being seated just in whatever is the most comfortable position for you. You can have your legs out straight, you can have them folded. And here in the K-Pac, there's a lot of buzz with the Karate Kid coming, starting next Wednesday is their first show. So we've had all kinds of different practices going on. When I arrived this morning, there was trumpet playing in the Black Box Theater behind us. So we might get a little overflow of the Karate Kid energy. So in saying that, our balance pose is going to be from the Karate Kid. So you guys will recognize it, yes. So sitting up nice and tall, and just go ahead and close your eyes and just kind of sense the energy that's around you, the energy that's in your own body. See if you can even out your breath, so making your inhales the same length as your exhales without forcing anything. Really see if you can lengthen that breath, just maybe one count. Taking time for both mind and body to kind of just settle in this space. And you can either keep your eyes closed or you can let a little bit of light in, but we're just going to kind of lean from side to side. And go ahead and just pick up that hip bone as you lean. Put a little bit of weight into the hands. And then ground down through both sits bones. Take your right hand out to the side. Put a little bend into the elbow so that the elbow is kind of bending in towards you, towards your waist. Reach up and over, and then just try to ground this time through the left sits bone. Getting a big long stretch on that left side body. And then on your next breath, you're inhaling, coming up, placing that left hand up and over, to the right. Feel the lengthening of your right side body. And then we'll slowly make our way back up, one more time each side. And over to the other side. And coming upright. We'll take a twist here, but reach the arms up overhead. Take your gaze up, and then begin to twist to the right. So the inside of the room, and then the left hand can come on down to that right knee. Stay nice and tall through your torso, and look over that right shoulder. Very tempting to lean back, but we want to use our core to stay upright. And then inhale, reach up, and twist the other way. Nice and easy. And then your next breath, reach up. We'll do one more twist on to each side. Inhale, reach. And exhale, look over the shoulder. It's a little spinal twist. And inhale, reach up. Palms come together, slide the hands down to your heart space. So we're gonna arrange our feet so that they're sole to sole. And just let the hips open as much as they will, or won't, whatever the case may be. And then inhale, sit up tall. And then on your exhale, just begin to lean forward. So stay honest with yourself here. Sometimes we're so eager to reach the nose closer to the toes that we allow our backs to round. So to prevent that from happening, draw your navel into your spine, engaging the core. Just kind of draw your shoulder blades towards each other a little bit, just squeezing the shoulder blades back. One more breath here. And inhale, come on up. Okay, take just your right foot out in front of you, flex at the ankle. So your left foot is just kind of right here at the, maybe the thigh or the knee. Sit up tall, inhale, reach. And on your exhale, fold forward. Again, just concentrating on that hinging motion, keeping the back straight. Hands can be on either side of the calf, just giving yourself a little bit of support. Draw the toes towards you, reach through the heel. Maybe soften the back of the neck a little bit. Use one more full breath here and just give this hamstring a little bit more time. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, fold a little deeper. And then on your inhale, just walk yourself back up. All right, hug your left knee into your chest and maybe just a little tiny circle. And then set that left foot on the outer edge of your right knee. So this is the trick. You can kind of squeeze that knee to help you sit up nice and tall. Flex the ankle on that right foot. And then begin to twist to your left. So towards the lawn, staying upright, using the core, squeezing the thighs towards the midline. The left fingertips are nice and light as you look over that left shoulder. So we're going to stay here for another breath. Inhale grows you taller. Exhale allows you to twist a little deeper. And then just slowly unfold. And we'll just take both legs out in front, maybe a little bounce. Just to distribute all that pressure and synovial fluid. And then flex both ankles towards you. So we'll do a full forward fold in between. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. Hinging at the hips, lengthening through the heels. Use your breath here. So you should be able to go a little deeper on the exhale. And then just walk yourself up. Perfect. Leave the left leg out straight and bend the right knees, taking the foot into the inner thigh. Flex that left ankle. Inhale, reach up. Nice. Pull forward. Ideally, your chest is coming closer to your thigh, and your spine is trying to stay nice and long. Like you're folding in half at the hip joint. Full inhale. On your exhale, just go a little deeper. And then rock yourself up. Take a hold of that right knee. And maybe a little circle. Set it on the outside of the left knee. So this is the trick with the hips. We're actually squeezing them to midline. So it's like a scissoring motion. And then hugging that knee to your chest to sit up nice and tall. You want to find this true north so that when we twist to the right, we're truly getting a spinal twist, not just a leaning back motion. So you should feel this twist, grounding through both sits bones, creating the twist from about the navel on up. Try not to lean onto that right hand. One more full breath. Inhale, exhale, twist a little more. And then go ahead and release. Nice, okay. Both legs out in front again. Bounce, I found it's very important nowadays. All right, we're gonna do just a little tiny bit of shoulder work. So you can keep your legs out straight or you can crisscross. Let's reach the arms out to the side, take that left arm across your body, hook it with your right for that tricep stretch. If you want, you can hold on to the upper arm, just kind of give it a little extra tug. And then next inhale, open wide and switch sides. So it's tempting as you hook this arm to actually twist. So you want to keep your shoulders facing forward so that the stretch is across the tricep. I say that because I started to twist. And once again, just release the arms out straight, nice and wide. All right, we're just gonna do a little bit of hand work. Let's just take our right arm out in front of us. We're just gonna pull back gently on the thumb, and then the index finger, middle finger. I know every time I go to a class that they do this hand work, I'm just thrilled. We forget about our fingers and our hands, especially if we've been gardening a lot. So take that other left hand out, thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky. Interlace the fingers, press the palms away, and then scoop them up, interlace the fingers, and we're just gonna do a little figure eight. See if you can draw your forearms together and start to lift those elbows up. Maybe switch directions, that might be more difficult. Perfect, okay. We're gonna make a transition to hands and knees on our mat. If you need to double up your mat or throw a blanket underneath, feel free to do that. And we'll move through cat and cow. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, and exhale, round. Moving with your breath. Inhale, lift the heart, drop the belly, and exhale, round. Just a few more with your own breath. If you want to add a little extra motion here, your spine, your hips back towards your heels, towards child's pose. And then inhale, bend the elbows and scoop up into cow pose. Exhale, round. And bring the hips back, child's, and inhale, scoop on up like a animal lapping water. Exhale back, and one more time. Inhale. All right, so we're gonna do another thing here for our hands. I think I'll turn towards you guys. take your right hand, your fingers, and start to turn them towards the inside wall, outwards, yeah. And then see if you can start to rotate the fingers back towards your knee, opening up the front of that elbow. So keep turning the fingertips back towards your knee so that the crease of your elbow faces forward. Switching directions for the other direction. Nope, all the way around the other way. Yes, you got it. Okay, so now just baby circles, just little sways, and you should feel this nice deep stretch in the front of, yeah, that's good. Through the shoulder, through that forearm and wrist. Yeah, it's a doozy. Okay, and then go ahead and just shake that out. And pretty intense on the wrist and the elbow, and then switch sides. So the fingertips don't have to come all the way out. So you start to go outward towards the lawn and then keep them coming back towards your knee. Yes. And then if you're comfortable there, just little tiny circles. I know everyone's feeling this. So yeah, as we fix our gardens up and do a little bit of weeding and that sort of thing, this is a good one. All right, so go ahead, shake that arm out. Move the wrist and the elbow. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the backs of the hands and flip them down to the mat. And the fingers are facing your knees. And then straighten those elbows and then maybe start to sit. I can't sit very far, but try to bring your hips back towards your heels. And you should feel just a little bit more stretch on the forearms and the tops of the hands. So we're basically bending those wrists in the other direction. Nice. So just go at it slow. You're not putting a lot of weight on it. Yes, yes, but gently. You're not putting a lot of weight. You're just kind of bringing your hips back. Nice. All right, go ahead and shake that out. Who knew we could get so intense with the arms, right? All right, go ahead and take your hips back, and let's just take a nice, easy child's pose. Hips back to the heels. You can wiggle your knees wide if that's more comfortable for you. You can bring your forehead down to the mat. If your forehead doesn't make it, I love to use the block underneath my forehead. And just make sure if you use the block underneath your forehead that you're tucking your chin a little bit. You don't want to hyperextend your neck. You want to keep your neck slightly flexed. Reach the hips gently back towards the heels. All right, walk your fingers forward and interlace your hands here. So elbows are straight, more or less, and you're squeezing your upper arms in towards your temples. And then drop the elbows to the mat, bend the elbows, bring the hands behind the neck. You should feel a nice stretch in the triceps here. Nice. And while you're back there, maybe unleash the hands and give yourself a little upper neck and back massage. And then we're slowly release those hands, take them out straight, and then we'll come on up to hands and knees. All right, so we're gonna start doing kind of a little lunging sequence. So take your right foot forward, and then just start to lunge, low lunge, taking the left hip forward, and then take the hips back, straightening that right knee, maybe flexing and pointing that right ankle. And then once again, lean forward, low lunge. So you want to ideally lean forward enough so that your back left leg is kind of leaning forward. Your weight is not directly on top of the knee. Start to climb up. Hands go on the top of the right knee. Right knee's right over the ankle. Just feel that delicious stretch in the front of our left hip flexor. All right, we're gonna add a twist here. Inhale, reach up, and then twist towards that knee. So to the right, left hand can kind of go to the outer knee, and then gently look back. Got it. All right, inhale, reach up, crescent moon pose. And exhale, hands to the mat, step back, hands and knees. Round your back, cat pose, hips back to the heels, child's pose. Inhale, scoop up to cow. And then just nice neutral back. We'll switch sides. Left foot step forward. Low lunge on this other side. When you're ready, you can go ahead and climb up the top of the thigh. It's always like to do this part slow. So I'm going to demonstrate what happens if we don't do it slow. We take our hips forward, and then the minute I say reach your arms up overhead, people back up and then bring their arms up. So this is all straight. We want to keep that stretch on the front of this hip. All right, reach up now, hips stay forward, take your twist to the left. Right hand can go to the outer left thigh, look over your shoulder. Inhale, take them back up. And exhale down. Hands and knees. Once again, exhale, cat. Hips come back, child's pose. Inhale, scoop up to cow. All right. Before we come into our down dog, we're just going to take a puppy pose, walking your hands forward so that the hips stay right over the knees. And then you're really keeping the arms nice and strong and dropping your head between those upper arms. See if you can keep the elbows lifted off the mat. Feel that nice long spine. You should have a great stretch in the shoulders. And then inhale, come on up. Slide your hands back. They're still right in front of your shoulders, but then we're going to take the hips down to a nice low plank here. So we want to engage the core just enough so the belly's not falling to the mat. And then hug your elbows tightly in towards your rib cage. Slowly lower. See if you can get your belly, chest, and chin to touch down at the same time. And then on our next inhale, peel up. So not just straightening our arms, but using those back muscles to come up into a very gentle cobra. You should be able to lift the hands up off the mat just to check yourself. Perfect. All right, exhale, come on back. Child's pose for a moment. Stretch the hands forward. Next inhale, wave out to that low plank. Now, if you're ready to take this up a notch, you can tuck the toes under and come into a full plank. So it's up to you. And then hug those elbows into your rib cage, slowly lower. The slower you move to the mat, the more muscles are working. Inhale, the slower you lift the heart, the more the back muscles are working. If we just straighten the elbows, we're jamming the low back, which we don't want to do. Exhale, lower, press to hands and knees. And take the hands so that they're right underneath these shoulders. We'll come into pointer dog. Right heel goes back, gaze is between your hands. And then we're going to take the knee towards the nose. So think about that cat back, rounding the back here. And then inhale, take that right heel back. Option to take the opposite left arm forward for pointer dog. And then we're going to take that knee forward again. Option to take the left elbow and tap it to the right knee. Inhale, reach. Stretch that right heel back. Option to take the left arm forward one more time. Knee, this is core work, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Now you know why we stretch the wrist. All right, go ahead and drop the knee, the hand back to the mat. If you want to rest, get off those wrists for a moment, come into child's pose, and maybe wring those wrists out a few times. Take care of those hands. And then for the other side, we're going to come back up to hands and knees. And the left heel reaches back. So you're trying to get a nice long horizontal plane from the crown of your head to that left heel. So gaze is great if it's right between your hands. It helps you focus your balance and it keeps that neck in a neutral plane. If you want to come on up into pointer dog, you can. Opposite right hand reaches forward. Love this pose. It's so asymmetrical, it's so focused, it's so balanced. You have to have both sides of your brain working. And then you can take the left knee in. Hand can be outstretched or to the mat. Cat, tilt your back. Extend the left knee, the heel out. Pointer dog. 2 more times, elbow to knee. Cat, tilt the back. Reach and extend. And last time. The longer you kind of hover in this knee to elbow, the more the core has to engage, stretch out. And then return to hands and knees. And again, if you want to drop the hips back into child's pose, get off those wrists and hands. So circling the wrists here is a great idea because you'll get that synovial fluid moving around. Fun stuff. All right. Coming up to hands and knees, we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to come into a down dog, but we're going to keep our knees nice and bent.
I want us to work on reaching our hips back and lengthening the spine, opening up the shoulders. Not so much stretching the hamstrings here. And then if you want, you can walk your dog out, bending one knee and straightening the other. And then let's slowly, bending our knees, walk your hands one at a time back towards your feet. So we're just kind of hanging over here like a rag doll, letting any tension out of the shoulders, the neck, perhaps sway. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. And then, forgot, we're at the back of the mat. Okay, so from here, take your hands up to your hips. We're not going to round our way up, we're going to hinge our way up. So bending the knees straight back, hinge all the way up to standing. Very good. We're going to move through a sun breath, and then we're going to kind of wave out into a little vinyasa. So inhale, reach up, full breath. Gaze goes up. Exhale, fold over. Let all the breath out. Inhale, slide your hands up to the top of your shins, lengthen through the crown of the head. This is our half lift. Exhale, fold. Now from our forward fold, we're gonna walk our hands out. We're gonna find plank. Now you have an option of a full plank or a knee down plank. And slowly lower, belly, chest, and chin coming out at the same time. And then cobra, lifting the chest, using the back muscles to curl up. So we're not pressing into the hands, we're not forcing that back. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes under, muscle your way up to either low plank or full plank. Slight bend of the knees, down dog. Reach the hips back. Your gaze goes back to maybe your ankles. And then see if you can just kind of angle your heels to disappear behind your ankles. And then slowly walk your hands back to your feet until you are rooting down into your feet. And ideally, those feet are hip distance apart. So that's going to be our best balanced position, is with our feet hip distance apart. Draw the hands up to the top of the shins, half lift. In our half lift, we're squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other. Gauge the core, try to straighten and elongate the spine. Exhale, fold, let all the breath out. Inhale, root to rise, all the way up, palms meet, and slowly take those hands down in the heart space. So we're going to come into warrior one from the back of our mat, which is not usually the situation that we do. So what we want to do is just take your right foot, walk it a step forward, maybe another step forward. The idea here is to keep your legs in 2 track lines. You can angle that back left foot just a little bit. And you want to set up for this warrior one so that your legs are not in a tightrope. That'll help our balance. Inhale, reach up. That right knee's right over the ankle. And then reach and extend through the fingertips. Feel the length in your side waist. The elbows go wide. Now, this is, again, a little bit of balance. Maybe you start to take your gaze up the windows here, and then maybe up to the ceiling, slight back bend.
Opening up that heart space. And then inhale, take the hands up. Okay, so we're going to start to reach forward towards the front of our mat, towards the right foot, and possibly grab a hold of that block. So what we're going to do is walk our hands and our block to the long side of the left side of the mat. Start to parallel your feet. You got it. I almost think I can do this. This is where I was worried that my pants might rip. So depending on how much of a stretch I get, you might hear a rip. All right. So take your left knee. Bend your left knee. Start to walk your block over a little bit towards that left knee. And see if you can start to come into kind of a little side lunge. So this is my bad knee, and it's a little tough. But you're straightening your right leg, bending your right knee, just coming down. This is called Skandasana. Used to be really good, but it's not so much anymore. All right, and then press that leg straight. Walk your hands to the middle of your mat. So we're just hinging at the hips. And then walk that block over towards your right knee. And start to come, yeah, it's a nice open stretch. This side works a little bit better. It's a deep knee bend on that right side. You can do it. And it's a nice deep stretch on the straight leg. Okay, come on back up. Walk that block to the middle of your mats. Perfect. Just hang out here in your fold. I'll make my way back up to my mat. Okay, now from here, we're going to take our hands to our hips, hinge on up to standing. So our feet should be parallel. Press your hips forward slightly. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Take a little back bend here. Maybe gaze up if your balance is solid. And then exhale, neutral position. All right, we'll walk our legs together. Are we ready for a little Karate Kid? We'll point to the front of the room. Okay, so we all remember the infamous scene where he takes his lame leg and lifts it, right? So that's basically a balanced position. And what I've been learning in therapy is it's strengthening your standing leg. So I've always been fooled into thinking the lifted leg is doing all the work. Not the case. It's your standing leg that is strengthening and doing all the work. So the longer you can stand on that standing leg, the more strength that's going on. So find a gazing point and then just start to lift. I don't care which one you lift first. Just lift that knee. And it doesn't matter how high it is here because you don't want to round your back too much. So maybe the thigh is just level. Maybe you flex the ankle. Arms can reach up. And you try to stay as steady as you can. Uh-oh. Until the alarm goes off. All right, we won't do the jump switch. So go ahead and take that leg down. I can't wait to see what they do with it in the actual performance. Yeah. I'm sure they'll do something fun. All right, so switching sides. Again, the first part of any balanced pose is your gaze. So finding and locking into that non-moving spot to fixate your gaze, engage the core, lift the knee. I like to flex the lifted leg at the ankle just to kind of give myself a little bit more strength and make sure the hips are even. And I guess in the true sense of the Karate Kid, the wrists are kind of flexed up here. I'm not sure for what reason. Stay as long as you'd like. And lowering back down. Okay, we're going to change this up a little bit. So we're going to take our mats, we're going to double them, and then fold them again. So we've always tried to balance on a solid ground. But when we strengthen our balance, we have to start to rely on different balance components within our vestibular system, within our spinal system. So an uneven surface is going to challenge our balance. We all know this, right? So now stepping up on this kind of foamy, squishy surface is not horrible, but it's a little something, right? Now take either leg up, same pose, Karate Kid. Any wiggling at the ankle is just the ankle and the vestibular system fighting to keep you upright. And Chris Martin's right. Everybody said it was easy. Doesn't matter where that line falls in a yoga class, it always works. All right, so march it out. Kind of feels good on the feet to have that nice cushion, yeah? So a nice little mild fascial massage there. So in therapy, they have me balancing on like a 4-inch piece of foam. Crazy. All right, switching legs. For that focus point. Any bit of shaking, any bit of ankle movement, that's just your body knowing which way is upright and trying to make those small adjustments that you need. Perfect. So we're strengthening that vestibular spinal reflex. If we didn't have it, there'd be no strategies going on. We would just fall aside. So when our bodies are fighting to keep us there, the messages are going back and forth to say, hey, no, I got to be upright. So we know they're working. At least we hope they are. All right, so go ahead and lengthen that mat back out. And we're going to go ahead and start to wrap up our class. Let's do a nice slow vinyasa down to our bellies. Inhale, sweep the arms up, full breath. And exhale, let it all out, swan dive over. Inhale, half lift. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, gazes down at the mat. Exhale, bend the knees. Bring the hands in the mat, and then just start to walk yourself out to a plank. You might have to walk your hands forward and your feet back. To find that plank, knees down or knees lifted, your choice. Slowly lower, chaturanga. And the good news is we're going to go ahead and stay here on our bellies for a few breaths. You can drape your arms alongside your hips, turn your cheek one side. Now, a couple things here for our low back. You can just stay here and breathe. You may want to wiggle just a little. You're trying to relax that low spine. Maybe just a little tiny wiggle. And the next option would be to bend the knees and just a little windshield wiper movement from side to side. Keep it gentle.
And hands come underneath the chest and just press up to hands and knees. We're gonna crawl to the top of our mats and make our way down to a seated position. Sukhasana, crossing the legs, turning the palms up on your lap. Option to close the eyes here. Just find a little bit of stillness. Maybe comparing how you feel now to when we started with Sukhasana. Maybe the eyes stay closed, gathering the knees to the chest. Give yourself a little hug here. No time for core. We're gonna go ahead and you can drop back or roll back or bring your hands to the mat, lower yourself down to your back. And then hug your knees to your chest, maybe a little side to side rock. And then take your feet down to the mat. And we'll just rock the feet or the knees from side to side. So the same windshield movement that we did when we were on our bellies, but now we're on our backs. Yes. So go ahead and bridge up here. Make sure your knees are right underneath your ankles. Feet are hip distance apart. Thighs are parallel to each other as well. And then reach for your block. Hopefully it's within reach. And slide that block underneath your sacrum. You want to be right above the tailbone, maybe slightly on the tailbone, but you want to make sure that that low back is not on the block. Do you want the blanket instead? Yeah. Okay, now let the block support you here. So you're kind of sinking into that block. This is where the tension in the posterior pelvis kind of starts to let go a little bit. And you get a little stretching. Now, if you want to take the legs up towards the ceiling, so legs are lifted, more of a calming pose. Maybe flex the ankles as if you were standing on the ceiling. And then very slowly take the feet back down to the mat, gently bridge up, slide that block out from under you, and lower very slowly all the way down to the mat. It's like you're unrolling the spine. And then we'll go ahead and make our way into Shavasana. If you are someone that just needs to take that happy baby, feel free. And then just eventually make your way out to that nice outstretched corpse pose. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Wiggle the shoulder blades in underneath you. And just take a little bit of time here to let go. Without moving, start to take in the peacefulness, quiet, space. And then very slowly inviting movement back to your body. You can start anywhere you want, fingers, toes, wrists, ankles. Perhaps you want to take a nice long stretch, lengthening on your mat from fingertips to feet. And then go ahead and gather those knees into your chest and roll on to either side, the left or the right. Just pause here. Just reflect for a moment on how you feel. Thanking yourself for taking the time for you. Use that top hand to press up to seated position. Bring our hands together at the heart space. And take a nice deep inhale. Exhaling gently. The light in me sees and recognizes the light in each one of you. Namaste.